I don't get it. I don't get why all women would want to have the same looking genitalia.
So there is a reason.
There is.
Yeah, because porn, it all looks the same these days. In fact, there are countries that it's the law that women's private parts have to be photoshopped in order to make them look clean, symmetrical, have everything trimmed away. That's anything that shows that this is erotic. It's got to be basically looking like a girl.
So taking away all the uniqueness and all of the character and the individuality.
Yes. So a generation of people growing up looking at these idealized, all the same images of women's vulvas, yeah, it puts us in this position of thinking, oh my God, I don't look like that. And another thing that's happened, in probably the last 20 years, we are now in a culture where it's very unusual to have much pubic hair at all. So it makes it all more visible. And so years back, when women were young and looking in a mirror, they couldn't see their lips. All they could see was hair. Yeah. But now we all see it and we compare ourselves, which is a natural thing to do, to what we see in videos and pictures, and wow, I don't look like that. I don't look like that airbrushed image. I look like a real woman, and that's not good.
I still maintain it's a travesty to do this so that everybody looks symmetrical and everybody thinks they're doing what all the guys want. And I just don't. I'm one guy I'm not a big porn watcher, but still, it's not something that I would look forward to, is this symmetrification of women's genitalia. I prefer the uniqueness and the individuality, and there's so much more to explore and appreciate.
Than if it's all been trimmed away.
Yeah.
So typically the surgery involves trimming the inner lips to be equal or less than the outer lips, so that all you have is this closed up look.
Right.
No longer looking like the flower, the erotic, very erotic image of a woman whose inner lips at times swell, or at times for some women, especially as we age, they might show more naturally.
They're trying to come up with a more youthful appearance.
Yeah, that's probably part of it.
Because typically that's something that you would get more with age. Right?
Yes, a more sexually mature woman is going to have a vulva that looks more mature and more erotic. And
more interesting.
Let's say I could have a totally trimmed away, totally perfect, closed up, looking like I'm 11 years old, or I could look the way I look today, which is not that. What's your preference and why?
It's very clear. I would like you looking natural and having something to explore besides just a trimmed off piece of flesh. Right, with no individuality. It just doesn't, there's no draw in it to me. I don't want you to look like an 11-year-old girl, right? I'd rather you look like this beautiful woman that you are. And that's a part of this beautiful woman. So your recommendation for women considering the surgery is to think about what? To consider what? Think beyond porn, right? Porn is one thing that drives and shapes a lot of our ideas and beliefs about sexuality. But it's just one thing. And, you don't want to go through this process and then find out that you were beautiful before and now you just look like every other woman. I think you want to try to keep some of that individuality. I believe that your partner, if he or she's not a porn, what would I say, a real porn aficionado, I think they'll appreciate this individuality, that you have this unique look about you.
I think a real porn aficionado would appreciate the uniqueness.
I think so too.
Because if you're really into porn, you probably get bored seeing the same old thing over and over.
I would. That's why, this is so great to consider not doing this. A labiaplasty, right? Be unique, be yourself, be somebody a little bit different.
Do you have any advice for somebody considering the surgery of how they might become more comfortable with the way they look? before they actually go through with it?
Well, they could do what you and I did a long time ago, and we just went through pictures of, what was it, hundreds, if not thousands of vulvas. And we looked at them together and we talked about them, and I told you what I liked about them, and I think you could finally start to see where I was coming from, that there's character in each and every one. And you take that away, you lose the character to reshape them all the same way. So that's one way, I think, to get more comfortable, is realize that you're one unique woman out of millions and millions.
There are books available that celebrate the uniqueness of women's vulvas.
Yeah.
And the beauty and the vast array of different qualities and types.
Absolutely.
So do you have any other advice for a woman considering having this done because she just feels so far out of normal? She looks at the images available on her computer and she says, oh, I don't look like that. I have something, showing here, and it's darker, and it's not like it looks in these pictures, so I must not be normal, and people aren't going to like me this way.
I would suggest to that woman that she broadens her perspective, that the pictures that she's looking at are probably related to porn in some way, right? There's a sort of probably an offshoot of it. There maybe it's even like Playboy, where it's not pornographic, but again, they're all trying to achieve the similar look. And I think that if you just spend a little bit of time expanding your view on vulvas, you can get all kinds of validation that yours is beautiful. It would be a shame if down the road you met somebody who really appreciated the uniqueness and the individuality of a woman's vulva, of every woman's vulva, right? That they could really appreciate that. And it would be a shame to find out that you had surgery and now you no longer have that character, that uniqueness.
There really is something to be said for, if you're planning on doing this surgery, to get to a place of acceptance with who you are right now before you do it, so that you're not looking to the surgery to make you feel better about yourself, that you get to a place, however long it takes you, get to a place of comfort and acceptance with what you have, what you are, what you look like, then decide whether to actually go through with it.
Yeah. You might be surprised at your decision.